exciting times lie ahead, especially for Kevin Hunt and Kaizer Chiefs. Banele, 3 wins on the bounce. Credit to Kevin Hunt, or is it just a case of Samir Nurkovic coming back and then you know what he's all about?
I'd say it's a bit of both. I'd say credit to Kevin Hunt. I mean, swapping Ake and Cardoso, I think also
that tactical tweak.
Yeah, it has worked a lot. And yeah, obviously Nurkovic, I mean, his presence alone, he gives the team so much. He gives them assists, he gives them goals, direction. You know, I mean, if you look at the game against Chakuma in particular, I mean, whenever Nurkovic is involved in the mix, he also gives space for other players. You know, if he like makes a run, let's say he goes left, you'll see defenders following him, and that opens spaces for the likes of Abomanyama and Abomashiane and Abomongobo to come in. So it has been a bit of both. Nurkovic coming back and Kevin Hunt changing things around.
And how far do you think, because we had this discussion off air, and I said he can play for any team in the world, in any league. Well, not any team in the world, but in any league in the world. And I mentioned the Premier League as well. I think he's good enough to play there.
I wouldn't go as far as saying Premier League, not that he's not good enough to play there. I understand your case too. I mean, if you're comparing him to the likes of Abo Brewster, who are starting there, I mean, he's good enough. But in leagues like Belgium and France, where like...
You just want him to be the star player, it sounds like.
Well, not star player, but I do see him playing in those leagues. I mean, Eredivisie and things like that. He's got so much quality. For me, he's undoubtedly the best striker in the league. I mean, the impact. Look at Kaizer Chiefs now, completely
With
different.
and without him, it's two different teams.
Two different teams, completely different teams. I mean, when he first came, Chiefs were like out of top 8. He came, Chiefs were instantly title contenders. And look at him now again. He hasn't been involved. Chiefs were down and out. He came back. Unbelievable. Top 8 again.
I think the thing I like most about Nurkovic is that he doesn't need to be involved in goals. Like you said,
he doesn't need to score.
He doesn't need to score or assist in a match, and he still performs. And we see his presence, and we know what he's all about in the matches. So I think
definitely.
that for me stands out the most.
Yeah, for me, I think he's just quality all around. I mean, if you look at all the goals that they've scored with him on the field, you can see Uguti, okay, he did have some sort of impact, even though maybe he may not have assisted, but he was able to pull defenders away and open spaces for other players.
And I know we spoke about it a couple of months ago, and I think I was pushing this to happen. I said, Gavin, just play the kids. And as we saw in midweek, the kids are all right.
Yeah, they coming all right, and I like the fact that he's not just putting them at once and throwing them in the deep end. This week he'll start with Umashiane, he'll start with Ungobo, he'll start with Umacheke, Blom, you know. He's giving them enough time to improve and talking to the boys.
Just not all at once, so it's like an MDC team.
Exactly, yeah. So it's still a competitive team, and he's also giving all the boys fair enough minutes. I mean, look at Umacheke, he's got fair enough minutes. Umashiane, Ungobo, Blom, and he's now bringing in Ulisako, you know, giving him those last 10 minutes. So I think, towards the end of the season, then he'll start playing them all at once, which is fantastic to see.
You know, when Kamapillet had that injury when it was first announced, 2 months out, everyone looked at that game on the 30th of January, the Soweto derby. Orlando Pirates fans were licking their lips. I know many who were just so joyous about that fixture. Now how things can change in a matter of 3 matches. Yeah,
look, I think Chiefs have turned things around. I mean, look at Rumanyama, for example, coming off the bench, instant impact. You can see he's frustrated now. He wants to play, you know. They were too comfortable knowing that they'll start. But the kids have shown them that, look, if you're not pulling up your socks, we'll do the job for you and you'll stay on the bench, you know. So this is now a rejuvenated Kaizer Chiefs, we can say. Come next week, Saturday, it will be a completely different ball game. It won't be as easy as it was in the MTN 8, you know. That was a total walkover. But now, if Pirates come into the game and underestimating Chiefs, then they'll be in big trouble.
How should they approach it, you think?
I think they should approach it in a professional way.
Because we know, realistically speaking, Orlando Pirates are not a cautious team against anyone. They love to come out, express themselves and show their talents. And sometimes it works for them and sometimes it works against them. But how do you think they should approach it?
Yeah, like, you know, I've said it this season that Pirates haven't really stamped their authority in games. Apart from the TTM game, it was only been the game against the Kaizer Chiefs, and at that time Kaizer Chiefs, I mean, was down and
there
out.
For the taking.
Yeah, they were there for the taking. So against other teams, I haven't really seen Pirates stamping their authority, bullying the games and all of that. So yeah, this is maybe a similar approach to how they approached the final against the Bloemfontein Celtic, where you could see Aboloch, they were in the game. Everyone was like involved in that way. So you'd want to see Pirates where Lord Chupule, them having that combination, Abu Makaringe also upping their game, then okay, now this is the Pirates we're all expecting. But at the moment, Lodge will have a good game. Tomorrow is out. Someone else, it's very, very inconsistent. Even the lineup also, it's inconsistent. Today you see Umunare, the next day Makaringe, the following day Untlovu. There's a lot of inconsistencies in the team, especially also at the back. Also, there's been some inconsistencies. So
speaking of that, we need to have a conversation off air about Tulanis. That's why you will keep that one for off air. But let's wrap things up with the matter of the title race. Swallows and Mamelodi Sundowns this weekend. Going into the game, Sundowns are winless in 2 games against the Swallows side, who just look to be jumping over every single hurdle that comes their way.
Yeah, look, I always say that a league is won when you are able to win games that you are not supposed to win. That's the difference. And here now, the difference in having a good coach like Kupitso Musiman, when the chips are down, like the team is performing, but you're just unable to
There's
score.
no panic.
Exactly. Like you just need somebody who's then going to take you to that finish line, like that next level, who's going to give you that extra push, So this is now the time where we have to see Abo, Coach Obo, Rolani and Obumangoba doing that. They've done very, very well in terms of keeping the same shape, making sure Sundowns is competitive. But now it's time to push the team. We've seen Sundowns. Look at the game against Deep Bloemfontein Celtic. They were fantastic. They could have scored 5 goals on the day, but it wasn't to be. Luck wasn't on their side. Yeah. So how do you then now, as a coach, going into a game against the Morocco Swallows and push them? So that's what we want to see from the 3 coaches. I think now it's time for coaching now. Yeah. 1 goal in the last 3 games. That's 1 against Pirates. It's concerning signs. It's worrying signs. So how do you then push it? It'll be interesting to see if they have that in them.
From what I'm understanding, from what you're trying to say, is they almost have to try and fix something that's currently working, that's not really broken. They just still have to try and fix it and perhaps get it to perform better.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because if you look at Sundowns, as much as they haven't been scoring, but they've been playing very, very well, created a lot of chances, but the goals haven't been there. So that's what happens. Sometimes in football you will have brilliant games, but you find you're losing, even though the team is playing right, all the tactics, all the instructions you've given to the players, Baya wins, but at the end of the day, the opponent get that 1 silly goal and then you end up losing the game, So that's what I want to see from them. How do they then cope with such situations? Because I know Upitso, if he was still there, he was going to deal with this. Sundowns were going to bounce back, So how do they then come back? And we see Abo Tembazwane scoring again. We see Abo Erasmus, he hasn't scored in a while, scoring again, So it will be interesting to see what Abu Manoba do with this team.
Interesting times lie ahead indeed, but that's what we think. Let us know what you think down below in the comment section and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content. Until next week, Banele.
Sharp.
Cheers.
For more soccer betting tips and previews, get the latest copy of Soccer Betting News for only 10 Rand at your nearest Hollywood-based branch or news agent.